Hey, it's Dr. Jaban. Tonight I'm talking about 5 blood markers that are showing signs that your body is giving up, that your constitution is weak, things that we have to work on to build you back up so that we know you're going to be strong enough to fight the fight so that you can get out of Lyme, parasites, mold, PANS, all those kinds of things. So if you know somebody that is struggling, that feels weak, that isn't able to get through protocols, that has lost a ton of weight, that just looks like they're having a lot of muscle weakness, these are signs that they can look at in their lab work that are everyday signs. I've got other videos that go through these things in a little bit more detail on their full panels, but I cherry picked these out because these are ones that I look for every single day with people that come in. So the first sign is cholesterol. If your cholesterol is below 140, we've got to do something. Now that is below 140 without medication. So if you're medicated below 140, you might want to look into seeing if you can get that a little bit higher by talking with your doctor about reducing that medication. That would be a thing that you need to take to your doctor. If you're unmedicated and below 140, we've got some work to do. Things that I'm going to be recommending for a person like that is increasing their omega fats, eating avocados, eating almonds, making sure they're getting a ton of fat in so that they can help bring their cholesterol back up. Now, bringing the cholesterol back up like that is not the solution to the whole big picture, but it just simply helps feed your body because cholesterol helps you with hormone production. It helps with decreasing inflammation, your immune system. So cholesterol is vitally important, which is why when it's below 140, it's a sign your body's given up. These signs have actually been called ominous signs of death before. So the next test I'm going to go into is liver tests. There's 3 of them, but I kind of clumped them all together. So AST and ALT, if they are actually below the range on your lab test, which would be about somewhere around 8 to 10, if they're below 8 to 10, that for me is another sign your body is weak. That means the liver isn't being fed, it's not producing enzymes properly. So it's actually in a weakened state. So it's not toxic. It may have been toxic at some point and then dropped below, but oftentimes it was just, in the middle range and now it's dropped low. So your body's really weak. It needs some strength. It needs some fuel, some food. You're probably malnutritioned. So these are signs that you need to kick up and work a little bit harder. All right. The next one is ALT. So AST and ALT are the 2 liver enzymes. Next is ALK-Phos. ALK-Phos has to do with the liver also. So if you have a liver issue of liver deficiency or nutritional deficiency, ALK-Phos is going to be low. So it's actually going to be lower than the medical range. So above the medical range can mean all kinds of things from liver toxicities to cancers and other things like that. But low is liver dysfunction. So all of these are signs of death. They're weakness, right? So far we have cholesterol being low, below 140. We've got ALT, AST, and ALK-Phos, which are liver tests being low. Next, if your red blood cell count is low, that is a sign that your body is weak. You're probably bleeding somewhere or your blood cells are dying, right? So something is happening that is causing the red blood cells to die. Now, what could be doing that? Well, you could have a lot of different pieces to your puzzle. You could have parasites, bacteria, or viruses that are causing the death of your red blood cells. You could have toxicity. But the main reason I find is bleeding, and it's usually gut oriented. So if we heal the gut, then the red blood cells go back up. I've watched people have transfusion after transfusion after transfusion, and by healing the gut lining, we are able to raise up that number without adding more blood. And by the way, when you add blood to your body, you're taking in everything that other person had, and they are not testing that blood for things like Lyme and Babesia, Bartonella. So you might be transferring that across. So just be careful with transfusions. That is one way that you can contract some of these infections. All right, so what do I do for red blood cells? One, you've got to get rid of the organism that's causing the die-off, right? So get rid of that parasite, get rid of that bacteria, get rid of whatever's irritating you. Next, you've got to step into phase 2, which is healing the gut lining. One of my favorite products is Reparavite, which is filled with glutamine, aloe, ginger, slippery elm, Spanish moss. All of these amino acids, herbs, minerals help to heal that gut lining to bring it back to health. All right, so next thing, white blood cell count below 3.2 shows the immune system is weak and we've got to do some work. So immune system is vastly complicated to bring it back up. If you have chronic viral infections, that's a big one to drop you low. If you are chronically fatigued or chronically stressed out. So emotional or mental stress, that's going to come crashing down that white blood cell count. So you've got to do a lot of work at removing stress, feeding your body plenty of food. So starvation is going to lower that white blood cell count. First it'll go up and then it's going to come crashing down. But getting rid of the chronic infections is the most common thing I have to work with for getting white blood cell count back up. All right, so how do you get that white blood cell count? Like I said, remove the cause, whether that's stress, infections, or malnutrition. You've got to remove the cause. GFR, so that is glomerular filtration rate. That's kidney testing. So if your kidneys are below 60, we've got work to do, and a lot of it. If you're below 70, we've got to talk because you're heading toward that kidney failure range. 60 is where kidney failure starts. You're not in danger until you're at that 15 range where you're going to have to start talking dialysis, kidney replacement. But at 60, that's when the conversation gets very serious. Anything below 70, we're talking a lot. Anything below 90, I'm saying, hey, caution, pay attention to this. Let's make sure we've got some things in place. Now, there's a product I use called Kidney from Systemic Formulas that I've been putting in there. But more of my favorite product is Kidney Liver Detox from Cellcore to help support that filtration and detoxification. But what happens that causes GFR to go down? Well, medications can cause damage to it, high blood pressure can cause damage to it, and toxicity can cause damage to the kidney. So if you have any of those things going on, if you've got a heart disease, a blood pressure issue, you have to get that under control. If you have a toxicity issue, meaning like your liver hurts, you can feel the pain straight back from here in your back, right behind your belly button on the sides, that is kidneys screaming for help. If you've got that going on, you know you got to support the kidneys. So those are my 5 signs of death. I know that is technically 7 tests, but it's my 5 signs of body giving up, ominous signs of death, things that you've got to pay attention to because your body is weakening and you need to get after it. You need to get some support in there and you've got to strengthen yourself. So hopefully these help you to understand where your body is at and the urgency that you need to take in getting well. So thank you for watching this video. Like I said, if you know anybody that is seemingly just a person that has a weak constitution, they're just weak in general in their body, ask them about these tests.